August 6, 1945. A man is walking through the streets of Hiroshima. He is late. He forgot something at the office. A small mistake. A forgotten stamp. That tiny delay is about to save his life. And then, 3 days later, it will almost kill him again. His name was Tsutomu Yamaguchi. He was 29 years old. A marine engineer working for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. He had spent 3 months in Hiroshima on a business trip, designing oil tankers. August 6 was supposed to be his last day. He was finally going home to his wife and infant son in Nagasaki. That morning, walking toward the train station, Yamaguchi looked up and noticed a single American B-29 bomber flying high above the city. He saw it release something attached to 2 small parachutes. He had just enough time to dive into an irrigation ditch and cover his eyes and ears. Then the world turned white. The atomic bomb known as Little Boy detonated just 3 kilometers away. The blast ruptured his eardrums. It temporarily blinded him. It burned the entire left side of his upper body. Tens of thousands of people died instantly. Yamaguchi survived. When Yamaguchi opened his eyes, the city he had known for 3 months was gone. Fires burned in every direction. The air was filled with ash and the smell of burning wood and something far worse. He crawled out of the ditch, dazed, and began searching for his 2 colleagues. Miraculously, he found them. Together, the 3 men made their way through a nightmare landscape. Rivers were clogged with bodies. Bridges had been twisted into scrap metal. Yamaguchi was forced to swim across one river through a layer of floating corpses just to reach the train station. He boarded a train full of burned and bewildered passengers. When he arrived in Nagasaki the next morning, his burns were so severe that the hospital doctor treating him, a former classmate, did not recognize him. His own mother thought he was a ghost. Despite his injuries, Yamaguchi reported for work on August 9. He sat across from his supervisor and began describing what he had witnessed in Hiroshima. His boss refused to believe him. One bomb could not possibly destroy an entire city. That was impossible. That was insane. At exactly 11 in the morning, as Yamaguchi was still speaking, the room outside the office window lit up with a blinding white flash. The ground shook. The windows shattered. Yamaguchi fell to the floor. The Fat Man atomic bomb had just detonated over Nagasaki. 3 kilometers away. Again. He later recalled those moments with a quiet devastation. He said he thought the mushroom cloud had followed him from Hiroshima. The same white light. The same roar. The same searing heat. For a few seconds, Tsutomu Yamaguchi must have believed he was already dead. This time, the reinforced stairwell in the building shielded him from the worst of the blast. He survived again. He rushed home through the ruined streets of Nagasaki and found his wife and young son alive, though his wife had been caught in the black rain that followed the explosion. In the weeks that followed, Yamaguchi suffered radiation sickness, temporary hair loss, and recurring fevers. His daughter later recalled that for the first 12 years of her life, her father was almost always wrapped in bandages. And yet, slowly, incredibly, he recovered. Yamaguchi went on to work as a translator for the American occupation forces. He became a school teacher. He and his wife had 2 more daughters in the 1950s. For decades he stayed silent about what he had experienced. The memories were too vast, too dark to speak about. In his 80s, Yamaguchi finally began to speak. He wrote a memoir. He wrote poetry. In 2006, at the age of 90, he traveled to New York and stood before the United Nations to argue for the abolition of nuclear weapons. He said, having survived both atomic bombs, it was his destiny to tell the world what he had seen. In March 2009, Japan officially recognized Tsutomu Yamaguchi as the only person in history to survive both atomic bombings. He was 93 years old. He died 10 months later, on January 4, 2010, of stomach cancer. He had lived long enough to make sure the world would never forget. And neither should we.